welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live.
Bailey Price Media, I like it.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live. Today, we're going to talk all things transfer portal madness. The transfer portal is going wild right now, and I think specifically in Colorado, Buffalo's land, there's a lot of transfer portal departures that I think are going under the radar due to Shador Sanders not being drafted yet in the NFL draft. The NFL draft is live. The fourth round is underway, and the Tennessee Titans, as far as I know, on the clock. They actually made a pick and picked a Florida wide receiver. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. We'll stay tuned and see if Shador Sanders ends up getting drafted while we're live here. But if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. If you'd like to donate, go ahead and hit that super chat button. Drop a donation today. I appreciate you all tuning in. Without further ado, I got a special guest today. Alcorn State assistant head coach, Coach Leroy Frederick, joins the show to talk all things transfer portal madness with myself. And I can't thank him enough for joining. Without further ado, Coach Leroy Frederick joins the show. Coach Fred, what up, man? Happy Saturday. You're on the road.
Same to you, Bailey, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that time of year, you know.
That time of year, exactly. And the NFL draft's underway. There's a lot of developments. Obviously, Shador Sanders hasn't been drafted yet. Is the biggest story out going on right now. But Coach Fred, I brought you on to talk transfer portal because despite the Shador Sanders news, Colorado has lost one of its two top potential starters at corner, at running back, and at linebacker, which I think is kind of going under the radar here. But I think this is a huge, huge development. As we head into the weekend here, and Shador Sanders not being drafted is taking over the news. But Coach Fred, without further ado, I'll get into it here. Colorado, going into this season, I thought he would be a stud. Colorado cornerback Colton Hood has entered the transfer portal along with his brother, Brandon Hood, who I thought was a star running back who we had yet to see last season due to injury. Coming into this season, I thought he was going to be a hell of a player for Colorado. But Colton Hood enters the transfer portal. Coach Fred, this is somebody who I thought would really step up for Colorado's secondary and fill the hole that Travis Hunter left as he leaves and goes to the NFL draft, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Coach Fred, to me, this is an alarming departure here. And I want to go ahead and show this here, Coach Fred. I don't know if you saw this, but Colorado's pastor, E. Dewey Smith, said this on Twitter. He said he was replying to somebody on social media. He said, "It's always a stupid one on social media, LOL. They came to play together. New coaches want their own players. Coaches have the right to bring in who they want. In order for the new to come, the old is replaced. They both weren't wanted. It's life. It's business." Now, Coach Fred, Colorado's DB coach, Kevin Mathis, responded to this saying, "Pastor, you're better than this. Please don't spread these rumors. You know the real, so keep it real." E. Dewey Smith responds saying, "Coach, come on, man. You know me. You completely misunderstood the quote. Both of them were not wanted, correct? Only one was retained, correct? Were they both asked to stay? Does it make me seem like I'm lying, Coach? I am for the team and for the players." Coach Fred, this is wild development, alarming development for Colorado. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Go ahead.
Man, this whole situation, Bailey, is it's coming full circle.
Yeah.
When you talk about the reason, as you said, what the main story has been about, the quarterback not getting drafted. And all that comes along with him is people are saying that that's part of the reason teams are scared of him, are staying away from him. Here we are, you know what I mean? But again, Bailey, social media is not really a real place. But when you operate as if it is, that becomes alarming. And then I can remember they did a story on these two kids not too long ago. So these were two high-profile kids that they brought into the program.
So we're losing Coach Fred a
You
little bit.
You hate to draw, something.
Sorry, Coach Fred, we're losing you a little bit here. We got you.
Okay, and you hate to draw assumptions as to what's going. I think it's kind of playing out.
Hold on, Coach Fred, we're losing connection. Coach Fred, why don't you leave and rejoin the show here? Use the same link. But I think, like Coach Fred was saying here, the news of Shador Sanders, I don't know. I think this is going under the radar. Colorado losing 2 starters, especially Colton Hood. That one really alarmed me. Brandon Hood was somebody who I was really looking forward to see going into this season. And this was definitely surprising. Now Colorado's running back room is left with Dallin Hayden, Micah Welch, and Charlie Alfredal here. I expect Colorado to bring in a back or two in the transfer portal. I know they already had a visit from a Cal running back transfer, I believe. I do expect Colorado to bring in a running back or two in the transfer portal to go along with Dallin Hayden. But I think Dallin Hayden and Micah Welch are going to be the premier guys for Colorado's running back room this season. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring back in Coach Fred. Coach Fred, we got you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Sorry, we lost connection with you. You were saying about Colton Hood and Brandon Hood entering the transfer portal.
They were, high-profile kids. They did a little story on them, introducing them to the program, to the world, so to speak. And to now see this happening, playing out in real time, is kind of what, as I was saying, it's kind of what everybody's saying the real issue with Shador is. Nobody really wants to bring that into the building. And now you got the pastor and the position coach going at it, back and forth. I hate it, but this is what it's all about right now. And I'd be very surprised if you remember. Let's take it back. Kamari McLean. Kamari. Same thing, but he came back and he had other issues going on. But what was he saying in his departure? The issue was that everybody was this, and this. So it'd be interesting to see if the Hood brothers come back and post anything or say anything about it. They seem to be really nice kids. Not that McLean wasn't or isn't, but I don't know their personality to be the same as McLean's, to where they would come back and and really air it out like McLean did on his way out of there.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Colton Hood like Cormani McLean at all. Colton Hood, I think definitely during his time at CU, definitely took care of business, as well as Brandon Hood. That's why I think this is so surprising. This comes as Colorado they signed 2 defensive backs in the transfer portal, specifically Colorado signing Illinois State transfer corner Tion Parks. I don't know, Coach Fred, as you are coaching, and you see teams bring in different players. This causes different players to leave. I don't know if that was the case with Colton Hood. I thought it was really interesting, the DB coach going at Colorado's team pastor about saying they weren't wanted, so to speak. It's interesting. If I were playing and somebody was brought in from the transfer portal, I would want to compete and stay, because personally, I take it as disrespect them bringing somebody in if I'm in his shoes. As a coach, what is your perspective on that?
Well, I'll pull you behind the curtain just a little bit, Bailey. Let everybody else know behind the curtain. I think what the pastor is saying, because this happens, and this is to be known 100% true. A lot of times when guys come in, the roster limits, the scholarship limits, those meetings.
We got you.
With those exit meetings, can you hear me?
We're losing connection. Sorry, you were saying, Coach Fred?
With that exit meetings, a lot of those kids are kind of told, hey, I'll or else, but this is probably not going to work here. So that might have been the issue for them. They may have been told, hey, you're welcome to stay, but we're probably going to move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the portal is closing here shortly, Bailey. And there's over 11,000 kids in there right now. So, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to get out now. and find a home. And I'm willing to go out on a limb, Bailey, and say that's kind of what happened here. They felt like they found better. They needed those 2 spots or the 1 spot. The brothers are connected. Well, you can't take 1 scholarship or not renew. I don't want to say not renew, because they're 1-year deals, remember? You cannot not renew one and then expect the other one to be there. So I think somewhere between what the pastor's saying, what coach is saying, is in the truth. We're bringing in other guys, but it's probably going to be them.
Right. Yeah, and I think I agree with you, Coach Fred. And Colorado's corner room is left with DJ McKinney, Preston Hodge, and several others here. Like I mentioned, Tion Parks. Man, I just think this is a huge loss for Colorado. Him, Brandon Hood as well, because I was really, really excited to see Brandon Hood going into the season. I thought he was going to really take college football by storm here, and disappointing for Colorado Buffaloes fans. As we were talking, Colorado also lost Jaylen Wester, the brother of LeJohntay Wester, to the transfer portal. Presumably, I would assume if Jaylen Wester would have been a starter or at least competed for a starting role on a Colorado Buffaloes team. And losing him to the transfer portal as well is a little alarming here, Coach Fred. I have a theory, though, with Jaylen Wester. One, I don't know if he was forced out, because I think he was definitely wanted here. Jaylen Wester on Twitter, he's responded to people on Twitter. He's saying, I didn't want to, but it's my last year. Some things are out of control. God, go guide me, though. Jaden Wester's little brother actually committed to Pitt. So I have a theory that if he enters the portal and Pitt's interested, that could be a landing spot for Jaylen Wester's final year in college football. But Coach Fred, your thought on this other departure, another presumable starter for Colorado here hitting the portal. Going under the radar, definitely, but go ahead.
Yeah, and no position is ever guaranteed. You know that, Bailey. You've been in the locker room. But I get what he's saying. It's his last year. And besides the Pitt issue, I think it was a deal of where he wants to make sure that he puts himself in the best possible position to be able to play as much as he possibly can as a senior. So to have him kind of come out and say that, and then, you like you said, you kind of connect the dots with brother going here. I think his move is more about wanting to play as many snaps as he possibly can for his last year of college football.
Definitely.
I'd go with that. And then I think if you pull it back up, I think, was that Shallow?
That's his brother, LeJohntay Wester, who's going into the NFL.
No. I mean, that commented under his tweet.
Oh, no, that's just somebody on Twitter. That's not Shallow.
Okay. I couldn't see it. It moved. Okay,
it's
cool.
one of the prime sexuals, Coach Fred, probably. But Coach Fred, and another Colorado news here. Colorado lost Zack Owens to the transfer portal as well, offensive lineman. This comes as Colorado signs Memphis tackle transfer Xavier Hill, and another presumable starter. I'm guessing Zack Owens was wanting to play tackle. They brought in Xavier Hill. I don't know how committed he was to playing guard for CU. I also think they like you mentioned, they may have told him, hey, this is the direction we're going to go. Maybe hit the portal. I could presume that as well. But Coach Fred, I think those 2 losses earlier that I highlighted, alarming for Colorado nonetheless, because I was really excited to see the Hood brothers play for Colorado in full this season. Something else I got to ask you, Coach Fred, something that wasn't on my bingo card here. President Donald Trump took to social media to call out NFL owners for not drafting Shador Sanders. Coach Fred, I could not have predicted this ever happening, but it happened. And I'll go ahead and read Donald Trump's statement here. He says, "What is wrong with NFL owners? Are they stupid? Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach, streetwise and smart. Therefore, Shador, his quarterback son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shador, and say hello to your wonderful, wonderful father." Coach Fred, wow, I could have never foreseen this. Donald Trump calls out NFL owners for not drafting Shador Sanders. We are midway through or in the beginning of round 4 here, and Shador still has not been picked yet. Coach Fred, what are your thoughts on Donald Trump, President Trump, calling out NFL owners?
President Trump calling out the NFL for not selecting Shador is really, and that was not on my bingo card. You're exactly right about that. But everything's strategic, man.
Yeah.
This is the way he knows how Colorado and Coach Prime moves the needle. You can't tell me he didn't have anything. That wasn't his thought with this. And then you got to remember now he has a beef with all the NFL owners anyway because he wanted to get in. They wouldn't allow him to buy a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think any chance that he would get to stab at them would definitely be on his bingo card. But for you to find that, because I hadn't seen that. I know I've been traveling, but I didn't know President Trump watched the draft so intently.
Yeah, me neither. I had no idea, Coach Fred. This really caught me off guard, and I think Colorado fans specifically are indifferent by this. I don't know. Like the perception on social media, mixed. Definitely. I think a lot of people were surprised. The Prime Sexuals definitely were surprised. I was surprised. And Coach Fred, I got to ask you about the narrative regarding Shador Sanders dropping in the NFL draft. I'm seeing all kinds of narratives that I don't agree with at all, whether it's the NFL trying to get back at Deion Sanders. It's a racial thing, which I think is ridiculous. Stephen A. Smith came out, and I'll read this tweet here. I don't know if you saw this. He tweeted this yesterday. Someone just texted me this message, and they're absolutely correct. This is a bad look for the NFL. This feels like Kaepernick-level collusion. All the hard work in the NFL league office, puts in to eradicate these kinds of perceptions, only to turn around and watch as the owners look like they're colluding, messing up everything. What has been done to Shador will outshine everything else in this draft. We will never believe this is about just talent evaluation. Coach Fred, your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith's comments? I couldn't disagree more with the Kaepernick-level collusion. I don't think this is a racial thing at all. I think this all comes down to talent evaluation, ironically. But go ahead, Coach Fred. What are your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith's comments there and the narrative that this is like a collusion racial thing?
Yeah, I don't like the this is so far away from what happened with Colin Kaepernick. It doesn't make sense to even say that that's on the same level.
I agree.
I don't think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Shador has ever spoke out on a social issue
not like
publicly
that at all. Nope.
or, took a knee or did anything during the national anthem at any college football game. So I don't think you can liken it to that.
No, he ain't that type of kid either.
And I don't think he's that deep into it, so to speak. But to put it on that level, I just don't. Racial thing. I just don't know about the racial part of it either, Bailey.
I don't agree with it at all. But go ahead.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Coach Prime's a Hall of Famer. He's a former employee of the NFL before he got into the coaching thing. So if it's that much hate against him, and how he moves the knee,
we'll lose a connection with you, Coach Fred. Hold on, we got you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He called the NFL out for not coming to recruit talent, right?
He called the hold on, Coach
the NFL
Fred.
Out.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. We're cutting in and out. Let's try again.
I said he called the NFL out for not recruiting HBCU talent, right?
Right.
The next year, every NFL team had a representative at an HBCU combine. Every team. He said this and whatever else about the HBCU sector with the NFL. And the NFL came right along and did everything that he said or asked them to do. So I can't believe it's that much hate in the NFL for him to where they're making this just completely about him personal. Now, there were some picks that were taken already ahead of Shador that I'm kind of like, But I've got to believe when he went to the NFL Combine, Bailey, and I don't know if you have that clip when he gave his interview, um, and who knows whatever else happened. I just feel like Shador may have just read and rubbed everybody completely wrong, and
I
that's
agree,
tough to
Coach
come
Fred.
back from.
I agree with you 100%. And I think during NFL interviews, I don't know if you heard Brian Daboll or heard Todd McShay talk about Shador's interview with Brian Daboll. Shador reportedly rubbed Brian Daboll the wrong way. He reportedly in interviews with teams that he didn't think he would be drafted to, they didn't take it seriously, so to speak, as well. Alarming, so to speak. I think Deion's comments, if there's any – I don't think there's any retaliation towards Deion. It's not Deion Sanders' fault that the NFL talent evaluation doesn't believe Shador is a first 3-round quarterback. That you can't pin that on Deion at all. But you also have to look at Deion's comments a year ago saying they were going to pull an Eli Manning. I think that definitely alarmed NFL front offices. It all adds up, Coach Fred, I think. We got you. You still there, Coach Fred?
And I think Cleveland was one.
Coach Fred, why don't we have you leave and rejoin the studio again? We're losing connection with you there. Let me go ahead and give a quick update to the NFL draft while Coach Fred go ahead reloads here. First, there have been 7 picks in the 4th round of the NFL draft. Most notably, the New York Giants have selected Cam Scatterbo. I actually like that pick for the Giants. The Giants need to figure it out at running back, whether it's the kid Tracy they got, but they ain't figured it out since they got rid of Saquon Barkley. Cam Scatterbo to the New York Giants. Man, that makes me really excited to see that. Russell Wilson will be the quarterback going into this season here, presumably, unless Jameis Winston wins that job over him. But, man, Cam Scatterbo, the Raiders didn't draft a quarterback. The Raiders drafted a Tennessee wide receiver. Dante Thornton Jr. Wow. Raiders no quarterback with their 6th pick here. If we're looking at teams that can pick a quarterback, the Jets are on the clock right now. The pick is in. Philly's not. Man, it gets Steelers are the next team, in my opinion, that logically would pick a quarterback. I don't see Indy picking a quarterback at all. Let's see if we can bring back in Coach Fred. Coach Fred, what up? We got you?
Yeah.
All good. We got you back. Man,
as I was saying,
I think the narratives with that it's Deion's fault that or that the NFL is trying to punish Deion Sanders with the Shador thing is ridiculous. It ain't Deion Sanders' fault that NFL talent evaluation don't think he's a 3rd-round quarterback. Agree?
I agree, and I think you hit it on the head when you said when they made the comments about where they wouldn't go or where they wouldn't want to play at, and you think about one of those teams was Cleveland. Cleveland has had multiple picks and had an opportunity, but you can't just in this day and age, I don't think you can do that. And that's just my humble opinion. I think back then it was a different game when Archie and Eli did that. Mm-hmm. But this day and age, I don't think you can do that. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Definitely. I mean, if we're being honest, I don't think Shador's on the level that they were at. With all due respect to Shador, I don't think he's played as much, has the accolades necessarily in college, or played as high of a level. And that's no disrespect to Shador, but I mean that's also real shit. So, Fred, the Giants drafted Cam Scatterbo. Sorry, go ahead.
I said, let me ask you this. I also saw where one of the analysts said that he was a better prospect than the number 1 overall pick. What's your thoughts on that?
See, I think with Shador, it's all about fit. I thought he would have been a great fit on the Tennessee Titans at number 1. Do I think he's better than Cam Ward? It's hard to say. I think it's really a toss-up. I don't think Cam Ward was like over the top that much better than Shador, but NFL talent evaluators definitely do. The Titans were sold on Cam Ward. That's what they just decided, and that's that. What is your take on that? I don't know, because I thought he would have been a great fit in Tennessee. Do I think he's better than Cam Ward? That's a different argument, you know.
Well, and I think you hit it there as well. I think it's all about a fit. Baltimore fit their deal for Lamar. It wasn't like that when Lamar first got there, if you think about it. That offense was not that offense, but they fit it to who they have, and now Lamar has taken off. I think Tennessee's going to have to do the same thing, so to speak, with Cam. And I think whoever takes Shador, if they would have taken him number one, would have had to do the same thing as well, because he's not Cam. He's not a RPO full-time type guy. So, again, I think you hit it, man. It has to be a good fit for them, for that person. But I will say before we move on, I was very surprised that New Orleans, when they came back with the other pick, didn't take him. I was very surprised.
Yeah, and I was very surprised too, Coach Fred. And man, Kellen Moore must be all in on Tyler Shook. Tyler Shook, 25 years old. He was actually teammates with Juwan Johnson, who's their tight end at Oregon. Do you remember that? It's like way back in the day. I couldn't believe that pick when it went down. I was on the phone with my dad, and I was like, guess who the Saints just took? And he was like, please tell me it was Shador. I'm like, nah, Tyler Shook. He was like, man, unbelievable. I don't know. I think the Saints all in on Tyler Shook. I don't know. If you look at the Saints quarterbacks on their roster, Shook seems to fit what they do better than probably Shador, in my opinion, considering they have Rattler and Derek Carr on the roster. That's kind of my biggest takeaway from it. I mentioned the Juwan Johnson connection. Maybe that plays a part in it. I don't know. Probably not. But, Coach, what are your thoughts?
That's going to be an interesting deal because, remember, now Kellen Moore just came from the Philadelphia Eagles system, right, with Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
You can't ask Carr to run that system. You're not going to be able to ask – well, I guess Spencer did a little bit of that in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Is that the move that he's looking to do? But I don't know if Shook can do that. So that's going to be an interesting situation all the way around to see what New Orleans does.
Definitely to watch New Orleans. I just can't believe Tyler Shook. I thought they were all in on Rattler. That's what really threw me off about New Orleans going quarterback. I was like, man, especially in the second round, I was like, damn, okay, they must be all in on Tyler Shook. Coach Fred, giving some updates to the NFL draft here, the New York Giants just selected Cam Scatterbo in the fourth round here. I think a pretty good pickup for them at running back. They've been looking to solve that running back position for a while, ever since they decided to get rid of Saquon Barkley. Coach Fred, what are your thoughts on that?
I like it. That gives you a opportunity to help the quarterbacks that you have in there with a running game. He's a New York type guy, grit, grind. And I think his dad's going to really fit in New York, man. His dad's going to really fit in New York. So it's going to be a great deal. I think that's a good pick for them. Yeah,
he's a bruiser, man. And I'm a big fan of Cam ever since he was at Sac State in those days. Good pickup for the Giants there. I'm guessing Russell Wilson's going to be starting for them going into the season. Dable is building up that team for sure. Dable traded up for Jackson Dart, Coach. I don't expect to see Jackson Dart year one, but clearly Dable is sold on Jackson Dart enough to trade back into the first round to go and get him. What are your thoughts on that? What was your reaction seeing that?
Now, when in real time, when the trade happened, I just knew it was the kid from Colorado, right? And then when they announced the name, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it made no sense because you got Russell Wilson, you got Jameis Winston, and then you go sink a first-round pick, which is first-round money, into quarterback. So I was really surprised that they did that. I thought they would, get a quarterback later on with not such a hefty price tag. But when they called that name, I was just like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah, I was really, really shocked when they took I was on live with Coach JB when it happened, and I was like, JB, you ready for this pick? The Giants traded up, drafted Jackson Dart, lost his mind. He was like, this is a bad look for Deion Sanders, all JB.
I told you Jackson was coming up the coming up the charts. I can't remember if it was your show or JB show when no, it was me and you. And I was telling you how Jackson Dart was starting to impress, and people were starting to talk about him, but I didn't know he had picked up that much steam, first round type steam.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to be in the first round. That threw me off a little bit. Like, damn. And in other pickups, Jaguars trade up, draft Travis Hunter. The 34-year-old Jacksonville Jaguar GM James Gladstone's making moves that I can get behind. Sounds like they want to make the way he'll play in the NFL is the way he played at Colorado, playing both ways, so to speak. I think if people watched Colorado, Travis might not have been on the field as much as people think, because I don't think he was even 100% both ways at Colorado. No. I think it was a lot of snaps, but he wasn't. He'd come off every now and then. So, but Coach Fred, your thoughts on Jacksonville trading up and bringing Travis Hunter back to Florida?
Now that was crazy. Did you see what they got in return for that? Like
Cleveland, Cleveland gets a first next year and stuff. They gave up a lot
for one spot. Like I didn't understand that, but the move worked. And I'm kind of like you. I think when people hear the both ways thing, they think it's every down. Not going to be that, and I just can't see them even pushing that to where it gets up to around the 100 play a game mark. But we'll see. It'll be fun to see here. Not going to see him early in the preseason, but just to see the maturation of him, because it's going to be well documented. Be fun to see.
I can't wait, and I want them to give him the opportunity. At least let's see it. Let's see if he can. I'm not going to say he can't. This is it's happened every step of his life. At least give Travis the opportunity to, because, man, is he a dynamic player. And we've seen him on both sides of the ball. But, man, another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. In my head in the first round watching it, I was like, are they all in on Trevor Lawrence? I know all offseason Gladstone was like, they're all in on Trevor Lawrence. They could easily go against Shador right now if they wanted at this point. Like, man, I don't know. Are you sold on Trevor Lawrence?
I am. You got to remember now that first year when he had actually, some real live weapons, they came, a game away or 2 games away. So he's shown he can do it, but they've got I don't even think weapons.
I must have gotten a call. We'll bring Coach Fred back in a sec. He probably got a call. Another pick that happened, speaking of the Jags drafted Bashal Tootin, running back out of Virginia Tech. Steve Kim's really high on Tootin. Steve talked about him last season. Good pickup for the Jaguars. A lot of people thought Ashton Genty was going to go down to Jacksonville. I don't know. I thought they were going to go get his brother, Etienne's brother, but they go get Tootin, Virginia Tech back. I think a very good pickup for them. We'll see how they use him with Tank Bigsby and Etienne down there. As we wait for Coach Fred to join back here, talk about something else here real quick. Oklahoma running back Gavin Sawchuk is expected to enter the transfer portal, and he did end up entering the transfer portal. This comes after Oklahoma signed running back Jaylen Ott. I talked with former Oklahoma running back Rodney Anderson about this about a few weeks ago here. See if we get Coach Fred back in here. Coach Fred, I was just talking about sorry, you go ahead.
No, I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So, I heard everything you were talking about there.
Oh, it's all good. No, I was just talking about Oklahoma, Sawchuk entering the portal as they brought in Jaylen Ott here. This is an interesting development for sure. I think Sawchuk, a team to watch for Sawchuk, he's a Littleton, Colorado product from the state of Colorado. And I would look for Colorado to recruit him and ideally bring him back home to his home state here. Coach Fred, what are your thoughts on Sawchuk entering the portal as Oklahoma signs Jaylen Ott out of the portal?
I think it kind of goes back to what you guys talked about during the week. We are seeing real live free agency move around, you know what I mean? So that's one of those moves. But with them, with CU losing a running back, I mean, you get a hometown guy. I think they should definitely look into it if they have the room. If Colorado State's not on the phone already, they're missing the boat as well.
Yeah, I think Colorado definitely has some need at running back for sure. If not, Jay Norvell over at CSU and Fort Collins is going to be making a call to Sawchuk any second here for sure. But I thought this was an interesting development as Jay Knott, enters the transfer portal, something that we've talked about on the show in depth the last few weeks with all the different guests we've had here on Bailey Price Media Live. Coach Fred, we talked about it before we came on here. I hate to say this. Is there a possibility that Shador goes undrafted here? Are we going to have to face this reality?
Bailey, I gotta honestly believe that does not happen. Where are we at right now? Because I know you're watching. Fourth round.
Fourth round, the 49ers, this is a good pick I actually like. CJ West, D tackle out of Indiana, headed to San Fran over to the 49ers. That's a good pickup from him. I was pretty big on West going into the draft here. I think he ran sub 4.5 40. I thought he had a pretty decent season for Signetti and IU last season. But, yeah, that's where we're at right now, Coach Fred.
So let me ask you this. The next 4 picks, those teams don't need quarterbacks, right?
Panthers, no. Arizona, presumably no. But you heard Adam Schefter say something about how they may be interested in him. I don't know. Miami Dolphins.
I thought a round ago. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not gonna rule it out. And then Smitty's Indianapolis Colts, who I don't think are going to draft a quarterback, and they're going to start Daniel Jones. It's going to be Smitty's worst nightmare. They're going to start Daniel Jones, and he's going to have to eat all the words he's been saying about Daniel Jones for the last 2 years. But no, those are the next 4 picks here. And then Atlanta and Cincinnati, and they're not going to take a quarterback.
No.
I mean, really, Fred, if you look at the whole 4th round here, Pittsburgh is picking at 21 here. The Rams, who I talked about with Sean King, I think would be a great fit for Shador to get developed and coached, are at 25. Other than that, man, Seattle drafted Milroe. My brain is still. I'll comment on that next week because I don't even know what to say about that. That blew my mind. As a Seahawks fan, fuck. Yeah, Coach Fred. I mean, I'm the Raiders. I mean, the 3 teams that I see: Pittsburgh, LA, and the Raiders left in the 4th round here that would draft him. Personally, and my prediction at the beginning of this draft, I think I said this to you, Dallas. I think Dallas would be a great place for sure to go and sit behind Dak for a while, get coached and developed. They could bring in Shiloh if they want. Like it all works out. They're already in Dallas now anyway. But Dallas doesn't pick until the 5th round, 12th pick of the 5th round. So we'd have to go through a whole round here, him fall another round and not get drafted. What about the Raiders, Coach Fred? Him sitting behind Geno Smith. It's the 4th round now, so the whole my mindset behind why you wouldn't go to the Raiders is because they want to go defense. It's the 4th round now, so I think it would be a great pickup for the Raiders. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been screaming the Raiders from the beginning, but I said the Raiders in the 1st round. So I'll just be off a couple rounds, but I think it's got to be them. Miami didn't make sense to me until last night. Or does Pittsburgh double back? I've always said that it was the Raiders. Pete Carroll, veteran coach, can handle everything. I definitely think Coach Tomlin can handle everything. Now, I don't know about Miami's coach being a younger guy.
It might work perfectly, Coach Fred. You never maybe young cat.
Yeah.
Or it might be it might be Colorado Part 2 and South Beach.
Yeah, and that's the danger. But Mike Martin, what is he? He coaches in 3/4 pants. He coaches in the wireframe Ray-Bans, spiked hair. Not really a head coach, as my boy JB would say. He's more of an offensive coordinator serving as the head coach. So you're right. It might be Part 2, but in Miami. But if it doesn't happen this round, Bailey, to go back to the original question, Uh, I think that possibility becomes real, but I just can't see him not getting drafted.
I
Can you
agree.
imagine a fallout if he doesn't?
I can't believe that I'm going
That
to sit
fallout if
here
he
and say that
doesn't,
it's
maybe.
possible he goes undrafted. That's crazy. He's a great player. I get we talked about the NFL draft interviews, and I get he didn't interview great. I get he might have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Still a great talent. I didn't think he would fall like this. This is pretty damn shocking to me, Coach Fred. But the nature of the beast, no one's
fallout if
bigger than
he
the shield.
doesn't. Oh, I mean,
Sorry, go
if
ahead.
we've learned nothing else, I said, can you imagine the fallout if he doesn't?
I mean, you're hearing all kinds of rumors. Oh, he's going to go back to college. He still has eligibility. Nah, that ain't happening either. But I think it is going to be. It is not going to. It's not going to look good if he does fall out of the first round or the first round. If he goes undrafted, is what I'm trying to say. Unbelievable. Coach,
you said it. The shield has spoken. If he doesn't, the shield has made it real.
Yes, it has, definitely. Coach, the Panthers just picked up Trevor Etienne in the 4th round here. Pair with him, T-Mac, Tetro McMillan, Bryce Young, Xavier Legette. That offense is starting to look a little bit better over there in Carolina under Dave Canales. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's putting some weapons around him. Now they got to protect him. They got to protect him. And now he's got some people to put the ball in the hand, make it a little easier for him. But that's a good pick. I like that. That's a home run hitter.
Yeah, and I really like what Dave Canales is doing in Carolina, figuring it out. Pick a T-Mac, pick 8, Coach.
I like that.
Him pairing him with Xavier Legette, put another big weapon out there. Maybe watch the Panthers there in that division. We'll see. I don't know. Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining. I appreciate you joining here. Let me get your prediction before you get out here. Is Shador getting drafted? Yes or no right now?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
If he doesn't, we got to go live immediately.
Oh, yeah. If he don't go drafted today, stay tuned. Folks are watching now. There may be a second live show today because oh boy. Man, Coach Fred, I can't thank you enough for joining on Fine Saturday, man. I know you're busy on the road recruiting, doing your thing. I hope you enjoy the Saturday. I hope you enjoy the NFL draft. And, we'll have you back on here again very, very soon.
Yeah, got you, man. I owe you. And thank you. And I'm traveling, so keep me up to date with the text messages.
Definitely. And all folks watching, go ahead and check out Coach Fred on the Common Man podcast, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central. Check him out every week on YouTube, the Common Man podcast. Coach Fred does a great job over there, has all kinds of big time guests. So go ahead and check out Coach Fred on the Common Man podcast today. Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining. I appreciate you.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, talk to you soon, Coach. Man, shout out to Coach Fred, Alcorn State assistant head coach, for joining the show, talking all things transfer portal madness as Colorado loses 3 potential starters going into the season. We also talked President Donald Trump calling out NFL owners for not drafting Shador Sanders. That is something I could have never, ever predicted, but it did happen here. Let's take a look at the NFL draft here. Like I mentioned with Coach Fred, Trevor Etienne goes to the Panthers. The Houston Texans are on the clock, and the pick is in here. We'll see who they select, 14th pick in the 4th round. Smitty's Colts are next. And if I'm looking at it, man, Shador really could fall out of the 4th round. That's a very real possibility here. Very, very real possibility here. Steelers, like I mentioned, Rams. I'll throw this out there. My dad thinks the Chargers could be a good fitting spot for him. I don't know about that, but definitely the market there for sure though in LA. The Raiders at the end of the round, Seahawks drafted a quarterback for some reason, so that's out of the realm of possibility. The Saints drafted Tyler Shook over Shador, so that's interesting. Smitty's Colts. I mean, in the 4th round, that's it. If you go into the 5th round, I'm thinking Dallas. You got to look at the Dallas Cowboys at pick 12. I mean, how could Jerry Jones pass on him the whole draft? Like I said, my prediction was pick 12. They wouldn't be able to pass up on him. We're in the 4th round, going into the 5th. I don't know. Looking in the 5th round, Dallas is an option. Adam Schefter throughout Arizona, Miami Dolphins. I think could, but ultimately, like Howard Bowser, who we did the live watch party with on Coach JB's channel, said he's been covering the draft 47 years. You never know. You just never know. That is the cold, hard truth of it. Folks, I appreciate you watching, tuning in. Man, I may have to go live later today if Shador doesn't go on. If Shador goes undrafted, because that would be batshit crazy. But folks, if you're watching, hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. Shout out to Mike Bundy for donating 10 memberships to the BPM Army. Shout out to Mike Bundy. Mike Bundy's a freaking man, tuning into every show. We appreciate you. Great member of the Bailey Price Media Army. Shout out to Jared, Texas Spur, and so many others for tuning in. Team Mixum, my guys. Well, I appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy the NFL draft, and stay tuned to see where Shador Sanders, or if Shador Sanders gets drafted. Enjoy your Saturday. I appreciate you all watching. Peace.